Hi, friends. Welcome to Lotus in the Light. My name is Jennifer. Thanks for joining. If you're here, I think Spirit has brought this message to your attention specifically to talk about the idea of laziness. And I feel compelled to ask you all to remove the word lazy from your vocabulary. Or if you're going to keep it in your vocabulary, remove the judgment and negativity around it. Um, so let's see where this message is going to go. Right for the card here. Let's start with Spirit Animal Oracle. I think they have a message for us. Thank you to all of our spirit animals that really help guide us through life. They have beautiful lessons for us. All of them do. We work together. We support them and they support us. And this is one way they support us is through their energy and the messages that their energy bring to us. Okay, so Spirit put upon my heart a few minutes ago to talk about laziness and this concept of laziness. I know I think back at like the scriptures, and there's a scripture, I forget where, probably in Proverbs or something like that, about I forget I'm gonna frame it the way that I've understood it. It might not be these exact words or this exact translation, but basically a man that doesn't work shouldn't eat. we we have been most of us have been living a life that has been adhering to the five senses of the physical existence of, sight, taste, touch, sound, or hear, all of those. But we are not merely physical people. So if we're going to operate like we are only physical people, then leaning on only those five senses is all that matters. And um, the path to freedom, the path to success, the path to peace, the path to, I don't know if it's the path to peace, but the path to quote freedom and success would be one of discipline and regimented physical activity, right? It would be do this and then do this and then do this and then do this and no time for rest, no time for, um, what purpose would rest serve in outcomes that aren't rooted in anything spiritual, um, or anything where there's a connection to your intuition. If it's all just working off of this logic minded brain, if your whole life is just operating from here, then I guess rest has become important to rest the brain. I guess there's fairness in that, and hence we all sleep some, right? Um, but that's it. It's like allow for time for your brain to rest, and then you're right back at it. That is, I'll tell you this, that's not abundant life, 100%. That is a grind that I do not welcome back into my life. I don't know if there's really a message here. I don't know if there's a message in these cards because nothing's popping out, but oh, something finally popped out. Actually, a couple things popped out. So funny. Okay, so the first one that pops out is watch your words. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. So we're talking about the word lazy and what lazy indicates in our life. This is a 9, so it's breaking down to, or it breaks down to a 9, it's 45, which is like the end of a cycle. We're heading into a new cycle of life, a new cycle of belief, possibly. And so, sorry if you heard my phone. So there's value, such huge value in rest. And when we allow narratives in our life, and this is to watch the words, right? When we allow narratives in our life that to replay and repeat, that's what the parrot does, right? Parrot spirit. It's like whatever you say, it repeats. And beliefs are nothing more than the words that you say, and the thoughts that you think on repeat over and over. Okay. So if those things aren't working for you, then examine them and change them. And I say that because we tend to think, well, truth is truth and truth doesn't change. And if this is true, well, what makes something true? Because you believe it? That doesn't necessarily make it, it does make it true for you. So it doesn't make it objective truth for everyone. So whoever decided that rest, that relax, or, and I don't just mean rest, okay, I got to go to bed every night. I mean, um, yeah, I don't feel like doing anything today. Or so and so invited me here and I've even already committed to it, but I just don't feel like going. I would say tune into them, to those notions and honor them. Honor your body, honor your mind, honor your heart, honor all of it. And when it's guiding you in a direction, listen. And some people say, so I had an experience, a conversation with somebody recently where they said, yeah, but if I listened and every time I didn't feel like going anywhere, I didn't go, I would never go anywhere. And that's a problem because then you get stuck in the cycle of like depression or, whatever, because you don't leave the house. So you have to know yourself, right? And that's part of the reason. of listening to yourself. Because if you don't listen and you suppress the things that the world has said is bad or wrong, then you don't ever get really uncover and discover who you are, which is a travesty. It is not living when you're living in a mask of somebody else. Okay. So, what I would say is there may be healthy reasons why you feel like I don't want to go anywhere and I want to stay home and rest. And there might be less healthy. Remember, everything's on a spectrum of divine, perfect love and light to complete darkness, right? And so um, the motivators within us could be driven by an enlightened divine truth of, hey, my body needs to rest, or my mind needs to rest, or I'm processing some emotions right now, and being out in the general public isn't helping, right? But then on the other end of that, maybe I don't want to leave the house because I'm afraid of something, because I'm judging myself about something, and I don't want to be out in front of other people where they can judge me, or whatever. That could also be the reason. But guess what? You won't recognize or understand which it is until you honor your need to do nothing. When you honor your needs to do nothing, the why will start to emerge, and you will start to be able to evaluate with discernment, not just place judgment based on beliefs that society has told you to believe that this is bad, but actually with real inner wisdom and discernment to say, why is it that I don't want to go out today? Why is it that I don't want to go meet with this friend that I absolutely love and enjoy their company, but for some reason I'm feeling a tug not to go? Okay, I'm not sure right now, but I'm just going to honor my inner tug to not go. What happens if you did that? Would you be judged because you're flaky, because you made a plan and then you broke the plan? What are the reasons why you wouldn't listen to that? Are you judging yourself because you feel like that laziness makes you less than, makes you unproductive, makes you, fill in the blank, right? So maybe take a pause and try to recognize why it is that you don't want to listen to that instinct, and say, you know what, I'm just going to try. What's the harm? What's the harm if I try for 1 week just listening to my instinct of when to take action, when to go do something, and when to not? And I will say, this past year in particular, for me, as I've been diving in and doing the inner work and doing the energy work, it's exhausting work when you move out of the 3D reality, which is rooted in our five senses, right? And you start moving into the 5D, or moving towards the 5D and engaging the 5D, meaning you're engaging that spiritual reality, right? And you're connecting with spirit, connecting with God, connecting with that energy. It's exhausting. It is not, when we look at everything transactionally as a human, as a physical, right? Like, to achieve this, I have to do this. It's all about this transaction of you do this to get this, you pay this to receive this, right? But that's not how it works in the spirit. In the spirit world, oftentimes you need to do nothing except receive. Receive, and with that receiving, and often the receiving itself is the wisdom, is the knowing, is the inspiration. I say all the time, I don't do anything anymore unless I feel divinely inspired to do it. It doesn't mean I just sit here and wait for divine inspiration. I go about my life, but I don't do things out of any feeling of obligation. We talked about that in the early on in the high vibe diet, removing the I have to's. I do not have to do anything anymore, and I don't do anything out of any kind of obligation. If I feel a pull to do something, I do it. If I'm already scheduled to do something, I do it unless I feel a tug not to. Um, but I don't, I don't ever go against that pull. When I feel like spirit is redirecting me to do something else or to do nothing at all, I honor that. And I just have to say, like, the amount of hours that I've slept, the amount of hours that I spend in meditation, the amount of hours I spend just reading or nurturing myself. The greatest success you will find in life is when you invest in yourself, not in your business, not in your the success you're projecting to the world, into yourself. It is the greatest investment you can make. Okay, so I just want to look at these other cards. So we again, parrot, watch your words. Laziness is not a bad word. Embrace it, love it, or remove it from your vocabulary altogether if you don't think you can overcome the stigma of the word. And this is why words are so important. Literally in scripture, we're taught that, God is the word, right? God is Om. That's like the original word, the original sound. That's the meditation Om, right? God is the word. There's so much power in words, but the power only comes in words that are energetically connected, meaning when you're ego says, no, that's not true. We're going to say, we're going to believe this instead. But your energy says something else. Then those words that aren't really aligned with what you really believe have no power. Those words have zero power. And that's when we have to rely on all of our five senses to try to make our way in this world because we feel powerless, because we're not tapping into the true wisdom and power within. Um, and that makes for a tired existence. And remember, even Jesus said, like, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. But yet we've come to this conclusion that no pain, no gain. That if the path to success is through great effort and striving and struggle, and it simply is untrue. Um, what else do we have here? Okay, so we have, actually, I'm not even going to read these because I'm sorry, I'm getting tingled. I feel like I need to open a biblical tarot. So I think this one is important. Not to say that these other two don't have a good message, but I think that from the Spirit Animal Oracle, it was about this parrot, is about watching your words and the power that those words have, and just acknowledging that when you say words, they bring forth energy. Again, if they're words rooted in your energy and not just superficial words that you don't actually believe, but when those words bring energy that create your reality. So if you're living in a reality that and you feel tired and exhausted, or you feel guilty for being tired or exhausted, or um, you feel disconnected spiritually, maybe it's not even a feeling of tiredness. Sorry, one just popped out. Maybe it's not even a feeling of tiredness as much as like a feeling of just chaos, confusion, weariness, like I don't know where I'm at, I don't know where I'm going. That is an indicator that you need to center, that you need to quiet, that you need to still the noise around you, which often means going within. There are times when I'm just a hermit, and people that know me, like they've known me for years, this is the exact opposite of who I've ever been. You could have a year, 2 years ago, you could have called me at any point and said, what are you doing this week? And it's like, well, I'm working. And then after work on Monday, I got to do this. And after work on Tuesday, I got to do this. And after work on Wednesday, I'm going to do this. After work on Thursday, I'm going to do this. And after work on Friday, I'm going to do this. And on Saturday, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And on Sunday, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I mean, that was my life. It was jam packed because that's what I thought I had to do and needed to do. And it was also a way to avoid the quiet. And we are being called, I'm telling you, divine transformation and the transformation of your life into the direction that will bring you the most joy and the most peace starts with quiet. It starts with quiet. And you can't get to that quiet when you don't allow yourself rest, when you don't allow yourself time to do nothing. Do nothing. That should be number one on your agenda every single day. What time am I going to allow for myself today to do nothing? It should be one of the most important things. Boy, I feel like we get this card a lot. So this is Page of Candles. Candles of what? I don't know why I have the hardest time with this. Do 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 do. Um, Candles. Oh, okay. So they're like wands. Okay. So candles are all about that spiritual connection. It's about ambition. It's about where your motivation comes from. And Page of Candles in particular is like this is a young early. So you're in a young early phase of more intuitive inspiration, more intuitive connection to the divine. Um, this is Miriam. It says Miriam's praise for God. Miriam sang to them, "Sing to the Lord, for He is highly exalted. Both horse and driver He has hurled into the sea." So Miriam is celebrating the fact that they have just been saved from the hand of the Pharaoh, right? They've come through across the Red Sea and and the sea opened up for them and then closed back up. Now, listen, they could have taken all these steps in the 5D, right? They could have said, we need to do this, 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 this to overcome Pharaoh, to win our freedom out of slavery. We could have fought the war. We could have battled them and been, hundreds of our people or thousands of our people could have been slaughtered. But instead, they just followed intuition, divine intuition, and they followed the spirit who led them down to this river that felt like a brick wall with devastation on their heels, right? Coming towards them, Pharaoh's army coming towards them, and then the sea just opens. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to build a bridge. They didn't have to summons an airplane. The sea opened. The possibilities just opened for them when they allowed themselves to connect to the divine. And to do that, they had to allow themselves to receive and not be stuck in a loop, not be stuck on the hamster wheel of doing. That hamster wheel will get you somewhere. It's not going to get you to the ultimate. So, so that's my message today: is give yourself permission to go. I mean, Page of Candles is saying, hey, you're finding it, you're doing it, you're starting that path. Page is like kind of first step in the path. So there's a lot of energy towards it. Oh, and this is a number 11. That is a master number from spirit, letting you know you are on the divine path. You are heading in the right direction. And rest might be one of the barriers, one of the hurdles that you're facing to connection, and more importantly, your belief about it. Okay, so again, next time you hear the word lazy, say, yep, I sure am, if that's what you want to call it. And it's not that you're lazy, it's that you are recognizing that there's the formula, the math formula isn't what North Star. You're following your intuition that is guiding you to your greatest joy. And that North Star is it, right? Follow it. But sorry, I digress. Um, so if it was important, spirit will give it back to me. Okay, I thought we were going to do another card, but maybe this is it. Love you. Peace out. And I hope this message found you and motivated you to take a pause and appreciate it. And if you think negatively about it, take the pause anyway. And when you're out of that negative headspace, come back and reflect on it. You can't reflect on it while you're in the negative headspace. You won't get clarity. You will get truth that's filtered through all this stuff in your ego thinking mind. It'll be truth that's been filtered through judgment. It's been filtered through beliefs that society has told you, that's been filtered through your past experiences and your past traumas. And you're like, I've tried this before, and if I didn't do this, and this, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have happened. Do you think that they went to that river thinking that that river was going to be parted? No, they just followed where they were being led. Do you think if they would have known they were being led to the river, they ever would have agreed to go? No, they would have sat down with their map and they would have said, here, we're gonna go this way, we're gonna go this way, and we'll go to this mountain and we'll climb over this mountain. They would have made it so much harder than it had to be. But instead, they said, I'm just going to follow divine guidance. I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to go with my intuition. I'm going to go with my gut, right? Not everybody in that group probably felt that way, right? Some of them followed because they trusted and believed in Moses, but they did it. And what they found at the end of that rainbow of that journey, of that particular journey, was freedom. Is what they found. They found freedom, and that is there for you as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Peace out. Have a great day.